there was a detailed article about Tiffany in the April 21st, 1988 issue of Rolling Stone. And the headline kind of gives you a negative feeling. Can she survive her success? I'm going to go into the article, but this is kind of interesting. Look at the back of this. The cigarette ad, which is of another time. So let's go into this article here. The title is very damaging. The Selling of Tiffany. So that automatically gives you a sense of, well, this is someone with limited talent, and we've got to try to sell her to an audience. And so the article itself is not that bad, but these headlines are kind of brutal. And it goes through the period of time in February of 1988 when she was recording the official video for I Saw Him Standing There. And she also recorded the European video for Could Have Been. And just a couple of things about the article here. Trying to get this. These articles can be so misleading. The article itself, like I said, was a pretty fair article that just went through things. But look at this picture and look what it says. Tiffany is signed to me, 100% to me. Well, the emotion you get from reading that is that he is being possessive. He's claiming ownership, like I own her. And when you read the context of what that was about, is he was explaining the contractual situation. Tiffany was signed to him, and then MCA Records negotiated with his company, not directly with Tiffany. So this is so common for media to do this, for them to present either a headline or something like this where it gives you one picture of things, one emotion that you react to, whereas the reality is completely different. And this is a picture here of the Magic Kingdom. She performed in front of the Magic Kingdom. Oh, here's another manipulative photo. Hey, they're talking about, Tiffany was having to work really hard, which she could handle. And that was just part of it. There was just a lot of appearances. So look what they do in the photo. You know they told her to do this, to lay down, and they make her look like she's totally worn out. There's no way. This is not a candid photo that somebody snapped. This is completely manipulative. This is analogous to, there's a podcast I listen to called A Numbers Game, which talks about sports betting. And there's a regular guest on there. His name is Todd Wishneff, and he was in this 2019 documentary on sports betting, and he liked to hang out at the sports book, and he liked to hang out there, quite a few hours of the week. And they filmed him with a bunch of empty hamburger wrappers on the ground, and he said that was all staged to give an impression. So that's what this photo is all about. Now, the article itself is interesting because it just goes through the process. They said it was her first time performing in front of a large audience, except for the malls, which I guess is true. She did perform on The Tonight Show, so that had a large TV audience, but not a large studio audience, so it does make sense. But then the article concludes in a kind of damaging way. It's not a noteworthy performance. Bullshit. Yes, it was. She did a phenomenal job on what we see of the video of I Saw Him Standing There, and also the video for Could Have Been. So that's an opinion. Obviously, I have a different opinion, but this one's printed in Rolling Stone. So that's kind of damaging. And then the way she finishes the article is just so disrespectful. She's talking about Cinderella Castle, looks enormous and historic, looks genuine, and then says it's just one of those things that looks absolutely real, but it's not. So that's feeding into this idea that Tiffany was not a real talent, that she was an average talent that was marketed cleverly. And you've heard me in the past talk about that idea before and how wrong it is. And I have another video or two planned on that. But I do think on balance, even though the article here was not that bad when you get into the meat of it, I think it was damaging because it fed into that perception that Tiffany was manufactured, and it put it in print in Rolling Stone magazine. So I have no love lost for Susan Orlean.